Okay, we're live. Good morning. It's been a couple of weeks. We haven't seen each other, but I'm back again, and I have a really interesting guest today, FatGrammy, also known as Mona. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Hey,
Yeah.
you were saying that it's trying to snow there, and you
Mm-hmm.
can keep it.
Oh, you don't like it?
I love watching the snow and it's beautiful. The first day or
Mm-hmm.
so, it's really beautiful. But it's
Mm.
hard to get out in a wheelchair in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I understand that. I also live in a small country village, so when the snow comes, there's a chaos because they don't have the right kind of equipment for cleaning up the snow from the streets, right away.
right.
So yeah, so it takes some time, and I live quite far from my work, so it takes a long time to get there as well. But today was a day off, so I've been relaxing, and I didn't need to worry about it.
Well, it's nice. That's really
Yeah.
nice to be able to just relax.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There was some days off that had to be taken before they will take them away from me. So I decided to have one this Friday. And I can see we have some familiar people in the chat. We got Wally. I think you're familiar with Wally also from your chat.
No, but that's okay.
Oh,
Nice to meet
okay.
you, Ollie.
And Lupita. And Amy, one of my other heroes. Maybe I will get
Me,
to
my
interview
heroes
also
too.
at one point on my channel. I don't know if she's shown her face live yet, but for sure. And Marcy's here. Good to see you. Mandy, good morning. And it's Arismart's birthday today. She's turning 50 years.
Yep, a
Congratulations.
good happy birthday, Irish.
Yeah, it's great to see you. It's nice that you're spending your birthday with us. That's really great. And Kathy's here. Oh, good morning. Two beautiful and strong ladies. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you. That's really nice. And Susan King is here also. Good to see you. Uh, I just wanted to, because we have never spoken face to face before, I kind of wanted to start from the beginning and really get to know you. I don't know how much you know about me. I haven't really shared so much about my story either online. So maybe we can just get to know each other and see where we get from there.
I would love that.
Great. So how do you got into the Scientology, anti-Scientology activism online in the first place?
Well, I've told my story on my channel in the past, but I know we haven't talked like you just
Mm-hmm.
said. And I happen to be a T7 paraplegic, which
Mm-hmm.
means I'm paralyzed from the breastbone down.
Yeah.
And this last year, well, I've been in a wheelchair about 29 years now, and
Okay.
it's worn out my shoulders. In this last year, I blew out both of my shoulders to
Oh,
where I wasn't able to get in and out of bed by myself. And at one point, I couldn't even put my hair up or move my arms at all. And so,
okay.
literally, put me in bed.
Yeah.
And besides sitting and praying and not being able to do anything, TV became my life, and I
Mm-hmm.
started watching on YouTube. Um, there was Streets and DOA when DOA came on the scene. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, at the time, it was amusing and it was entertaining. But then from
Mm-hmm.
the entertainment, I went, well, what is this about? So I started
Mm-hmm.
looking into it and figuring out all of the abuses, met through the channel Lara and Serge and Liz, and just
Mm-hmm.
got to know them through their channels.
Yeah.
And just as a mom and a grandma, it broke my heart that
Yeah.
they weren't able to have the love and the freedoms as they were growing up. And so trying to work that for kids became a passion for me.
Yeah.
And since I was stuck in bed anyways, I might as well do something for good. So that's
Yeah.
how I got into it.
Okay. When did you start with your channel?
Couple of months ago. Really, it hasn't been that long.
Is it only a couple of months ago? Because I remember I've seen you already in the spring. I think someone interviewed you at one point. I can't remember who it was, but I
And Nora, and then I work a lot with Poe on the Go.
mm-hmm.
And it was probably him who had me on at the time.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a channel yet. I was still just a lurker and
Yeah.
going into others' channels and others' chats.
Yeah.
And then Poe said, "Why don't you have a channel? Let's start working on that."
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's great. That's great. Was it an easy decision for you to put yourself out there, or?
I don't mind being out there. It was a little scary knowing the fair gaming
Mm-hmm.
and the lies that can be told behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
watching that play out. That was a little
Yeah.
scary. But to put the channel, hey Peter, hi Rika, just to put the channel together, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
No, it's such a heartfelt mission
Yeah.
that part was easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel similar kind of way from that. I have never been a public speaker, and I always try to push myself to, put myself out there. If there was any kind of opportunity to present something at work or so forth, I would do it, but I would always be really nervous. But I think it's the kind of the cause that has made me overcome the nervousness of putting myself out there and maybe showing something, doing something wrong or saying something wrong, to, not to worry about it, because we're all human and everyone is, saying something, maybe making a mistake somewhere along the way, and it's not that serious.
Exactly, right. And
Yeah.
I used to do public speaking quite a bit before my injury and
Yeah.
even afterwards, but public speaking in this fashion when you don't know a lot about the subject
Mm-hmm.
is hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard. And that's why when I'm speaking of the past abuses and stuff, sometimes I stutter or I can't find the right
Mm-hmm.
words. It's because I've never been through it and I'm living through somebody else's perception
Yeah.
and somebody else's
Yeah.
views. But when I'm
Exactly.
trying to speak on IRS matters or business matters, and I know those things. So
Yeah.
that helps me be a little more comfortable.
Yeah. And
But still
actually,
it's scary.
yeah. And I said there's no plan, so let's just jump around, because I wanted to hear a little bit more about your background, because you seem to be a very knowledgeable and intelligent human being, especially on the very business savvy type of person. Is that some kind of background with what you've been working with before, or?
It did. Before my accident, I ran a business, actually an auto body shop, for
Okay.
14 years.
Okay.
And so I was a general manager of a pretty large shop.
Okay.
And then after that, I got more into the HR end of things and
Mm-hmm.
worked with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay.
And so I traveled worldwide, countrywide, working with that law in the
Okay.
Department of Justice.
Okay.
And then went on to work for the governor of Alaska for a while. And
Yeah.
that was a very political job. So I was on the other side of all these meetings that we go
Mm-hmm.
to. And it was very political. And I loved the job. I hated the politics.
Yeah.
I'm not a politic player. I'm more of a results oriented. Let's just
Yeah.
get it done. Let's not F around with stuff.
Yeah.
And let's not have 5 zillion meetings which could have been done in an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I totally follow that. I know how to be objective, but the politics is sometimes it goes to the extreme, and then I would just like to get things done, and I cannot understand why some things take so much work and effort to get done when it seems so simple looking from the outside.
And to be real honest, I don't care what color the paper is printed on. I don't really care.
Mhm.
Just print the dang thing and get it done. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Exactly. And okay, but you've been working with the ADA then a lot in the past as
Lots of
well.
HR and business management. And so until I retired to move down here to the lower 48, which I lived in
Mhm.
Alaska, and we called down here in the United States called the lower 48 states,
Ah, okay. Now I get what
which
it
is
means.
that's why it's called the
Yeah.
lower 48. But I moved down
Yeah.
here to take care of my mom and dad that were sick at the time. But I
Okay.
retired out of a business, and I used to do hiring for oil, gas, and mining companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was their third party hirer. And so I
Okay.
dealt with a lot of executives and um, technicians.
Yeah.
So HR and IRS and all of that stuff is kind of my forte.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can also understand the extreme frustration that there is. Let's talk about the planters for a second, for example. That even I, as a non-American citizen, actually never even visited. I know about ADA. I knew already what it was, before I was following any of the happenings in Los Angeles regarding the planters and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's so difficult to get it fixed over there? How?
Because it's a tug of war. It's a head butting of
Mm,
power. That's all it
mm,
is. It's just a power struggle.
yeah,
It's them saying we can do what we want to do, and we're going to do until we want to change our mind. When we
yeah,
want to change our mind, we'll do that. It's a
yeah,
power struggle. That's
yeah,
all it is. And the
yeah,
city's actually caught in the middle of it.
yeah,
It's just a power struggle.
yeah. Okay, because we have some kind of similar. I don't know if I mentioned it to you before, but we have similar legislation in Finland regarding, accessibility. For example, if you are disabled, the municipality is, they are required to make an easy access, for example, to a building where you're renting apartment in. So not everything needs to be ready. And
Hmm.
the old U.S. ambassador Bruce Orrick, he was renovating. He stayed in Finland after his tenure as an ambassador, and he purchased a very fancy apartment in Helsinki, and he renovated it. And the municipality forced him to renovate it according to the Disability Act that is
Right.
enforceable in Finland. And he he tried to sue the city so that he would not have to make the bathroom, door wide enough for wheelchair, or the entrance, and he lost in the end.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and of course, the United States has gone through a process
Mm-hmm.
of making it accessible for veterans and for people in the military, federal, and then it went into the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it's gone in stages.
Yeah.
And to be real honest, the planners have morphed into the ADA. I mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
using that because it happens to fall into that law too,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of their way of preventing. Well, the first one, when Scotty had the houseman or
Yeah.
the tents along there, to get rid of them, and they used that what the rest of the city was doing.
Yeah.
So again, it's more of just a tug of war on
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
power
I
play.
yeah. I just think it's such an obvious violation of it that I do not understand how someone cannot just say there must be some instance in the city that could enforce the rules on them immediately. And maybe that
Good.
person has not been found yet, but there must
No,
be someone.
they could, but remember the city of LA is so safe pointed
Mm-hmm.
that the the problem really doesn't lay that it's new safe pointing. It's just been so safe pointed that this
Mm-hmm.
is the way things have always been done in people that are there now's mind.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't there before the city
Mm.
started, or before they were safe pointed. So this is the way things are just always done in LA.
Yeah.
And you can't force change. Well, you can force it. That's two ways, is for
Mm.
people to know that they need to change and it's
Mm-hmm.
benefits them, or you force the change. And
Yes.
until that, nobody changes. A government doesn't change unless they have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and participating in this meeting is definitely making an impact over there on enforcing this change, right?
Oh, most definitely, baby steps. And it
Yeah.
certainly helps, like when you call in,
Mm,
and when Amy calls in, when everybody around the country is calling in, and
mm,
we're together as like a crowdsource, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to call. And I thought first that, what business do I have to be in getting involved with this, but I thought also not just for myself. It does upset me when I listen to those meetings, and I was like, okay, I need to call. So I did do it partly just to participate myself, but also in order to show others that you can do it. It's just pushing the link and speaking out. It's not
It
more
is.
scary than that.
And on the reverse, you guys have some legislation that is going through, right?
Well, we're hoping to see if something is happening right now. I mean, it's a long process. This is not something that has been getting enough attention in Denmark. The cults and the abuse also in recognized religions, because Denmark is also very. I mean, compared to USA, we're not so multicultural, but we have a lot of immigrants here, and also second, third generation immigrants. And there's been, for example, conversation regarding Muslims enforcing the Sharia law, and women being, forced to do something in the name of religion, also in Denmark, regarding Islam, for example. That there's been now a politician that's been speaking publicly out about that. Secondly, there's been a lot of bad publicity for Jehovah's Witnesses here, because there is very much similar type of control and abuse.
Right.
I think it's just that Scientology takes the number one place when you really start to look into it. But I would still place them in the same category.
Yeah. Well, you guys had opportunity for people to send in letters to your parliament too, right?
Yes.
That was your area.
Yes. So basically, that's what I was getting into. I always get way too long-winded and sidetracked when I'm trying to explain something. That's a fault of mine. But yes, we have something called the Denmark list, and it's basically ongoing project that I will need to try and remember every single time I'm live to mention it. I will just find the link also and just share the page with everyone. Again, but it's basically an email template which is available on sbtv.space under resources, and there's one in English, one in Danish, and anyone can send an email to a Danish member of parliament and ask them to look into the abusive practices in Scientology. And we have included on that email template some relevant topics to what's been happening in Denmark. For example, apostate Alex got a tip, I think, from somewhere in the early summer about a Ukrainian woman located in Denmark who was looking for a Purif partner for her 10-year-old daughter.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a public Facebook post, and basically what we did then as a kind of like a small call for action, we were several people that emailed basically the child services here and raised our concern regarding the Purif process, and that information is included on the what is it called now? On the email template.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, just to let them know that we are concerned about the children in Scientology, because it seems that there are certain things that speak to the public authorities, and they are more likely to grasp something when it's regarding abuse of children.
Exactly. It definitely tugs at the heartstrings way nicer, way easier than
So that's why we are focusing on this, and also regarding we are in Denmark, where the headquarters for European Scientology is located. So we have a lot of buildings here. We have a lot of people, working in the Sea organization, and we also wanted to flag the working conditions, because Scientology has been way too long operating on this pretenses that people are working voluntarily.
Right, volunteer ministers.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's just a disguise to get everything out of people. Everything you can get out of them, you use them to the end. And I have also heard some very disturbing stories regarding this that I am unable to share because the people are not speaking out loud. But
Right.
there is cases of very severe elderly abuse also in Denmark that I'm aware of. So in Denmark, we have laws regarding, for example, working hours. And even
Right.
if you're a volunteer, you're not allowed to work more than what it's legally allowed to be working. But it's just about how do you interpret the local laws.
Right. And again, it's the same thing as the planters. It's a power play. It's they're going to do what they think that they're going to get away with for as long as they're going to get away with it. And it's a power struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's two of the things that we are mainly focusing here on is the C organization and the child abuse. That's basically it. And of course, ideally we would like to see Scientology shut down. I don't know how realistic that is. I still keep on believing that will happen one day. But
I have faith.
yes. Anything can happen, if we just get to grow the movement as much as possible. So
It is. And to be real honest, even through attrition, I think their numbers are shrinking enough that through attrition, it would close itself down eventually anyways. It's just having those children and the people growing up into it right now having to deal with it for the next 20 years as the attrition takes place.
Yeah, because we do know that Scientology is slowly fading down. However, I don't think it's happening fast enough right now. I think the young children that are grown up in Scientology will eventually open their eyes to the abuse and see that this is not really how the world works in 2020s anymore. But
Right.
But the earlier we can get them out of there, the better, basically.
Yep.
Now,
That's my sentiment. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just that now I finally got the share the link. I've been clicking here like a maniac in the background trying to get it on the screen. I'm really not a professional with this, but this is the link. sbtv.space, and the Denmark list is under the resources. And there's been hundreds and hundreds of emails sent. And I hope I have received all the answers, because we also have an email address here called sbtvdenmark@gmail.com, where we are encouraging people to forward the answers they get. And I have got some people that have felt a little bit discouraged because the politicians are very easy to shut down the topic and say, okay, this is not our area of responsibility. But I don't think that should stop us, because that's the way that the change is made. At one point, people need to start to take responsibility. And I wanted to share, actually, I think I might go live tomorrow and share this article where a Danish politician has written a long column regarding cults and religion in Denmark and these coercive practices, and the fact that we have something called a church ministry in Denmark, because the main religion here is the Lutheran Church. And the answers mainly from the Danish church ministry has been that this is an area that is outside their responsibility, because they are only dealing with recognized religions.
Well, in therein lies an answer, because they don't think Scientology is a recognized religion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But when you come back to that, and you have probably I don't know, 30-40% of the people here paying taxes from their salary to the Danish main church. I would think that as a Lutheran church or any other recognized religion, you would also want to protect your recognized religion and the practices by clearly condemning cults and high
right.
control groups, and making out statements, maybe even encouraging the parliament to do investigations on this, so you can actually separate your religion from these high control groups and cults.
That's a good way. I know that I've talked with several church groups here in the United States, and
Hmm.
they are against the cults. They're against high control religions, quote
Hmm.
unquote. However, a lot of the folks seem to want to control uh, the control over the religious
Mm.
rules. And
Yeah.
so they think if they open up that Pandora's box, it's going to
Mm.
screw it up for all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which I don't agree with that, but
Mm.
that seems to be the main gist of what they don't want to do.
Yeah, and I'm not just pointing finger at the church ministry. This was just regarding this specific column that the politician was writing, actually demanding the church ministry to take action, because this has been a running theme coming from several of the ministries, including Justice Ministry, saying that this is not part of our area of responsibility.
Hmm.
Same going for employment. So there's been some answers coming where they have actually uh, sent the emails that our followers, have been sending to the politicians. They have sent them to the Danish working authority, who is like protecting the legislation and so forth. And
Hmm.
they have just sent a very standard answer where it says that if you suspect something criminal is going and you have first-hand experience, or you have someone, who can prove it, then you need to go to the police. So basically, it's just shutting down any further conversation. But
Oh, of
there is,
course.
yeah, but there are actually some people with common sense in the parliament. So this is, just the examples I want to give, that even if you get these answers, there is always someone who is reading the mail. And the more times you receive this message, especially if you get an original written mail from someone regarding their own experience in Scientology, it of course always makes a larger impact as well.
Absolutely. And somebody is reading that mail. Yep, you're
Yes,
right.
yes, absolutely, every time. And I don't want to, this was just to kind of say that even if you get an answer that you think is not, what you were hoping for, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have an impact. And we also have the answers where people are extremely shocked about the conditions and they do want to raise questions. So it's not
Right,
all, yeah, it's not all rejections. Absolutely not.
right.
And I have a special friend who actually is going to help me with moving forward with these politicians that have kind of given us a little bit of green light. And hopefully we get to have some meetings at one point with them.
Oh, that'll be nice. That's
Yeah.
that's progress.
Yes, absolutely. So this is not something that is going to be, taken care of in a matter of weeks or months. We're talking probably about years. But like
Yeah,
my friend,
unfortunately, it definitely is the long game.
yeah, I had a couple of my friends were talking, and one of them said after all this mess with the police and Scientology, like, why isn't she just giving up? And my other friend said, yeah, she's never gonna do that.
Politely tenacious.
Yes, it's kind of a flaw. So maybe you could share a little bit about what you're working on every day uh, regarding the activism.
Sure. Well, I've been working very closely with Audit LA in
Mm-hmm.
LA, And
Also
she's
my
kind of
hero, as well as you.
my hero too. Definitely. Not all heroes wear capes, and one of these days we're all going to send her a cape and a crown.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I'm always giving her a crown in the chat. I said she should be a, honorary queen of Los Angeles. Absolutely.
Definitely. She's politely tenacious, to name it.
Yes.
And she's in the same boat. She happens to use a chair. We both know a lot about the ADA, and so we're very like-minded. We have a lot of our belief systems are the same. And so I work a lot with her on up and coming potential items, looking at what others are writing in. YRB and Amy, two of your commenters here, are huge in creation of action items of what can happen. Using the permits and the planters as an example, but also the fingers go out from there. Okay, so what else is being affected by that? What other departments, what other areas around the country are being affected by that? And how is the safe pointing work, trying to unsafe the safe point, take those tentacles back out and the claws back out of the departments and government units that they're stuck into, not just there, but everywhere else. And I've been working more on the macro level. She works on the micro level. And I mean, we both help each other, but those are the points that we focus on. And so I'm looking at the larger governmental agencies like FBI, IRS, Health and Social Services, Homeland Security. She's working on the LA and the police departments and helping me spread it to the other police departments and the other city components. So using both sides of the picture, the macro and the micro, that's kind of how we divide it and divvy up the work a little bit.
Okay. So, and you are using a lot of your day to look into some detailed documents regarding legislation and what's happening in the city. And
I do, but for most of the time, it's like yesterday when Nora and I were on our stream. It's just something, when you hear something like about the volunteer minister and the pays and how that all works with payroll and their verbiage, something will click in your head and go, that just doesn't sound right. So let's investigate that. How is that working? Let's break it down to figure out how they are getting through this, how this is actually, it doesn't pass the sniff test or the smell test, but somehow they're legally getting it by the system. So how are they getting it legally by the system? And then unraveling it. And literally, that's what I do.
Actually, regarding this, I'm a little bit curious about Janet on the on the CPAP. How did you identify her? How did you become aware that she was someone who was very much, being in having the power in the Los Angeles municipality regarding whatever is happening in Scientology?
Audit LA had been at one time, for a while, on her neighborhood council. And so she knew about these meetings. The CPAB is not a public meeting, but it's a community and policing board. So it's the bringing the two together so that way neighborhoods are felt safer and more heard. And so she knew that one of the CPABs had been infiltrated by Scientology, because a lot of the neighborhood councils are infiltrated by Scientology board members, people that are part of it. And
So she
she
got
had
this
gone
information from someone, or?
Well, they're part of the board. They're part of the council.
Okay.
And so they don't represent themselves. They represent Scientology, which is really strange because you don't have a priest on there representing the Catholic Church or a
No.
rabbi on there representing the Jewish faith. You have a Tom Brown or a Tim Jones representing themselves normally.
Yeah.
And unless you're a business representative, which a church is not a business, a church is a church. Do you understand where I'm going with that?
Yes.
So it was funny that they keep having representatives of Scientology on these boards and councils because it's really biased and it's unequal compared to other religions or other representatives.
Yeah.
So she had gone thinking there was somebody else that was the representative, and she got there and she saw that it was Janet Wieland. And we started looking into who Janet was, and she's the head of OSA for LA area. Now she's not the head of OSA, but she's for the LA area, she is.
Yeah.
And she's represented as a minister on there for the Church of Scientology. And again, to go back to well, there's no rabbis and if they are, they're on there as the personal representative, not as a church representative.
Yeah.
So you know darn well, and she's been on there, or somebody's been on there for years and years and years. So you know darn well it's safe pointed. You know darn well they have tit for tat going on all the time. And just kind of looking through how she went to DC to get an award, Washington, DC to get an award with the Faith Initiative. And and one of the police officers was there with her that happened to be sitting there at the CPAB with her. I mean, it's like, come on, you guys. This relationship is just so obvious.
Yeah.
But it's time to get her off from there because it's an unequal representation.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it's great that it's getting called out now. I understand that she is also quite up there in the age.
She's 80 some years old. She doesn't look that old, but she's 80 some years old.
No. And apparently she can afford to buy hair dye with her $47 a week. But I think she should be forced retired basically at this point.
And her husband, ex-husband, I think it's an ex now. He's been missing. He's still alive, but he's been missing since Shelley went missing.
Okay.
Interesting. So nobody's seen or heard from him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, too weird. So many coincidences.
Yeah.
So many coincidences.
Yes, absolutely. Very strange. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. I wanted to just highlight your efforts regarding is it Faces of Scientology? The new channel.
That's a great channel.
Yeah, I know that you have been attacked already by the cult with these privacy claims, but I think it's great that you are highlighting the faces of people that, there can be a lot of family members anywhere in the world, basically, who are missing them, and they can be found.
And Matt's really had to battle to keep those faces on there that he keeps getting copywritten.
Yes.
Copy struck.
Yeah.
Struck.
Yeah. But it's, I will need to also share these videos more because I think it's important. I am friends with people that have family members in Scientology still, and they would, love to see a picture of their mother or their brother. So this is really important work. There's also a similar site, I think, on Facebook. I can't remember if who I think it's Sarasota Cherry or someone who made a Facebook group where there's also a lot of pictures, hundreds and hundreds of pictures of Clearwater Sea Org members.
Check that out.
Yeah, so I have given that tip also to someone who is missing their family member in Clearwater, and it's really important because just imagine hundreds and hundreds of pictures, but even if one person can find their family member that they haven't seen potentially for decades, that would be
that would definitely be warming.
Yes,
I know. Clearwater is a whole different animal. Talk about the belly of the beast. That's definitely the belly of the beast.
Yes.
But that's a targeted area that we need to go into next as a community, as a crowdsource. We need to try and untangle that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's going to be a chore.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of efforts. I know Marker was working very hard when he was when he was in the city board or whatever you call it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it city board? But in order to engage the majority of the inhabitants in Clearwater that are not Scientologists, they should have even bigger motive to rid Scientology than we do.
You would think.
Yeah.
But again, you're being pressured by those that are just moving there or those that have been there a long time. This is the way it's always been. Change is hard.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you, Marcy, so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. It's it is quite interesting that still in this year, I always keep on saying 2024, we're in 2024. We're not in the 80s, we're not in the early 90s where internet didn't exist, where if you could get into trouble with the authorities, it could be that the system could swallow you completely, and this information would never come out. But
Right.
Today,
excuse me.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Bless you.
Thank you.
With the tools and the help we have from the internet nowadays, you can get the information out there, and you don't need to be worried about being let's say being fair game by Scientology, or they are not such a big boogeyman anymore that is hiding in the shadows and taking you down.
Yeah, and the good and the bad information are equally out there on the internet. And the internet has changed. It's like what you're talking about, people back in the day in the 80s and the 90s and even before that. If you really wanted to be hidden out, you'd go to a rural area in the United States, or up where I lived, up in Alaska. We had all sorts of people running away from something up there.
Yeah.
You'd run over to Sweden or, whatever. And you would go hide out. But nowadays, you're tracked down with the internet so easy that it's too transparent.
Yeah.
But it does make it harder. So, we deal with a lot of internet bullies.
Yeah, that's true.
And the trolls are one thing, but the bullies are another.
Yeah.
And I think Scientology has learned to infiltrate and become part of that bully network. And I got an email this morning of a person that's in my chat quite often that I know is absolute lie, but it's one of those rumor tactics that Scientology does. Start a rumor, get 4 people, 5 people to believe it and spread it, and off goes the rumor, and there goes somebody's reputation. I can smell a Scientology rumor from miles away. And that's exactly what it is. But so they've tried to ingrain that community. That can be scary because it's hard to defend yourself against the internet sometimes.
Yeah, I do understand it to a certain extent, that the people get impacted by it. I've heard so many things in my life. I don't think there's anything anyone could say online to hurt my feelings. And also, Scientology seems to not have learned anything about these black PR campaigns that they have had. They still use the same type of accusations and claims about people that they did 30 years ago, and nobody cares. There was I think there was a Daily Mail journalist who was under this black PR campaign, and someone was spreading a rumor that he liked to have group sex. Do we care? Who cares? What is this person's sexual preferences? Like, it's totally irrelevant. You can see it on the pages of these hate websites that are made for the most prominent
Right.
people speaking against Scientology. It's ridiculous claims that do not have any kind of impact. Maybe in some very traditional community or workplace that could hurt you, but
Right.
yeah, I'm not concerned. Have you
Yeah,
experienced any kind of fair gaming?
I have.
You have. Okay.
I have. I've had my bank accounts in my credit cards gotten into. I've had, and I know where they're coming from.
Okay.
Um, I've had lies told about me, and I'd
Ah,
basically just ignore it
okay.
because I know it's true. I know where my values and my morals are.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody wants to believe that without even asking me, then
Mm-hmm.
they're they're probably not worth my time anyways.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't buy into the whole rumorville part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
had to deal with it. We actually, my neighbors got broken into, which in the middle of the day, and it's just strange. It was one of those that there's no way that was a coincidence or, just
Okay.
different things.
Do you think it was house was mistaken or something like that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but fortunately, I have two very large dogs
Yes.
and a weapon system, so nobody's coming into my house. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
if
would.
they're going to do it, they have to do it over the rumorville for me. And as I said, I know my values, I know my beliefs, and I know where I stand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you know
I
your
don't get into
crimes,
things.
right? You know your crimes.
And we all have them. We all have some type of crime.
Yes. I know my
They-
crimes also, and
But you know
never be.
what? If you would just ask me, I'd tell you.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know if you find the. You sent me a picture with your beautiful grandchildren. They're twins, right?
They are. Yep.
Yeah.
They
So
turned 6 the other day.
okay, yeah. So you are sharing a little bit of your personal life. I have a little bit of difficulties of deciding what do I actually want to share and what I don't want to share. So for now, until Scientology knows my name, I decide to keep my private life, sharing my private life, into a minimum, not to give
Yeah.
them any help. Uh,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
yeah.
I guess I've been called FatGrammy, so it's assumed that I have grandchildren.
Yes,
But
absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, they can't be recognized from the picture anymore today for sure. So
no, definitely not. They've grown a little bit since then.
yeah,
Yeah.
how much do you think on a daily basis you use time on working on the activism?
Oh, honestly, probably, well, depending on meeting days,
Mm-hmm.
probably a good couple of hours a day.
Yeah,
You know, I do have a job too besides this, so um,
yeah.
I spend most of my time on my job, but then also on
Okay,
working on
so
this
you
book.
are still working. I understood that you were taking a hiatus from work.
Well, I have my own, I'm self-employed.
Ah,
So
okay,
I don't work for a company, but I have a self-employment.
okay,
So I probably spend on average, 2 to 3 hours a day on this.
okay, yeah. Plus
So
following all the different channels and
yeah,
videos.
sometimes that's more for entertainment value,
Yeah,
but how much do you spend on it?
way too much. Way too much. So I try to follow. Recently, I was a little bit discouraged about the content online because I don't think it was. I think it was not on the topic, or at least for what I was working for. So I kind of stick to your morning streams because it's very, feel good type of content, and you're often playing like Daniel Mastard's music or some other music, and it's yeah, it feels like a nice space to be. But there's been so much
Thank you.
this fighting that now I've been taking a little bit back the time. I used to do it probably 6 hours a day. While working, I always had headphones on, and
Sure.
yeah, and then when commuting to work, then a lot of time used on looking into different things on the internet, basically trying to find different kind of opportunities, what could be done here in Denmark. Because I do feel, I said I feel, responsibility, which I do, because I have started something. So, now I feel like there are people that maybe are not directly dependent on me, but, they're hoping that I could help with making a change. And it's a bit difficult when I'm only, first of all, right now, the only person that has a channel on YouTube in Denmark. And, I have a couple of people that are helping me in the background, but it's too much work, basically, for the amount of people that we are now.
Oh, I understand that completely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are trying to figure out the best way to reach out the biggest amount of people that we should get in touch with. And that's why I need help with, for example, with the Denmark list and people sending mails. So if anyone has a couple of minutes, just send a mail. Just send one mail to one person. I mean, you don't need to send to every single person on the list. But yeah, so I have someone who's very interested into looking into this refugee issue in Denmark, because basically what happened after the war started was that we have free movement inside European Union, but Ukraine is not part of European Union. However, when the war started, we opened the borders and gave them the similar type of access as any EU citizen would have.
Okay.
And that's basically in order for the people to, move in here. The different municipalities are providing housing to refugees, because that's, of course, mandatory that if you are taking in people, you need to give them some sort of housing.
Right.
But other than that, there's, issue with having enough people to work, the workforce in Denmark. So it's been very easy to hire Ukrainian people in Denmark because of this lack of workforce. So they have been given, basically, they don't need a work visa or anything like that. They can just start to work right away. And most of them, there are educated people and people that can, function in English. And Denmark is, still, everyone speaks English here. So it's easy to get a, grasp of the how things work here. However, Scientology has somehow managed to infiltrate within the
figure.
Ukrainian refugees, and there is this like a growing community of Ukrainian Scientologists here. So this is something.
I read that article. That was pretty obnoxious what they're doing.
Yeah. So basically, we are now trying to find the right instances to contact and, start to do our own type of safe pointing and communicating what is going on and how they are, trying to recruit. It seems to me that they are using then the more already established Ukrainian Scientologists to recruit more Ukrainian Scientologists.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to try and export them to like America or to other countries?
I think that's probably depending if they are, being recruited in the C organization. That's
true.
Yeah. So if you are in the C organization, then, anything is possible. But I don't know if you have seen any conversations I had with Balazs regarding his C organization history, and he actually did not want to go to USA. That was So for him, it was a nightmare of like 2 months in Los Angeles when he was there, and he kept on, basically insisting that he wants to come back to Denmark. He knew, and that was because he was old enough and smart enough to understand that I am here on a religious volunteer visa, which is a temporary one, and when I outstay my visa, I'm gonna be screwed. I'm gonna get out of here after that. Who's gonna help me, and where am I gonna end up? Because he's originally from Hungary, and then he was living in Denmark. Could he return to Denmark after that? So
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah. So
But if you're young enough and you don't know enough about yourself or about what your rights are, you're going to get
exactly.
screwed.
Exactly. So imagine if there is even one 16, 17-year-old whose parents have signed over their parental rights to someone else, and this person ends up in the big blue building. I mean, they're totally helpless after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because of the fact that they still are not allowed to have these smartphones with internet connections, and would you even have money to afford to have one there? That's another question.
Right.
You
Mr.
have.
Claus is in your chat. Hello. Nice to meet
Oh
you.
yes. Yeah, he's saying I did not want to get lost in America if they kick me. Yeah, because if you are illegal immigrant already, because Scientology has basically I understood they kind of coached him and they give him a piece of paper, so he was coming on false pretenses of staying there temporarily. But
There's one of our viewers that has been providing me with the visas that are being given to all of the different orgs in the United States and over in Europe. So I need to get to work on that. I haven't started on that yet, but I have all of the religious visas that have been
okay, interesting.
that have been permitted. So that's a new thing that I haven't started yet, but
but like there is so much things to do, and there's so much information that I feel like sometimes it just it goes in from the other ear, and then kind of like it gets stored somewhere, and you realize.
And every once in a while, like this, you go, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That crime that they're doing too."
Yeah,
I mean, they're just so
exactly.
full of crimes.
Exactly. And the biggest like it's kind of responsibility I feel is that I have all this information I can share with other people, but then I have the other side of the information I should never speak out on.
Exactly.
And it's you need to be very careful and mindful what you speak out about, because I don't want to hurt anyone and I don't want to out anyone. So I feel a huge responsibility sitting, on this chair right now and talking.
100% agree with you on that. Yes. And to be real honest, who has got me more educated on that part of it than anybody has been Serge, because he has gone through so much in his life and has learned to speak out, but he's not a trusting person whatsoever. A lot of ex-Scientologists are not trusting people whatsoever. But when you find out why, you go, well, I guess there's a reason for that. And I guess I've always just been so open with people, talking, and you need information, sure, here, let's share it, let's do this, let's do that. But I've had to learn to hold things back until I get to know you.
Yes.
And I guess some of this information.
Yeah, and you have worked with human resources, so you know a little bit about the secrecy, and I have worked with payroll, for example, for a long time, and that's also something that you need to keep completely quiet about. But this is very complicated sometimes. How do you compartmentalize all the information so you are not saying anything that you should not be saying?
Well, and when you look at some of their old tactics and their old battle plans, and that they literally put people in to befriend you, to learn what you're doing, and to just work side by side with you, that is a battle plan of theirs.
Yeah. I mean, just this lady, what is her name? This legendary lady who was concentration camp survivor, and she got fair game by Scientology. What's her name? Do you remember?
I know I've heard of it, but not
this
information
journalist. Does anyone remember her name? But she got someone infiltrated her at home. She got a roommate that was working for Scientology in order to dig out Paulette Cooper. Yeah. to get information out of her.
Yeah.
So right now, also, like, even though I'm saying at the same time, I need more help, I need, more people to take action. At the same time, I'm a little bit wary of people contacting, because it's difficult to know what their motivations are. You don't know people.
Right. Exactly. And then, they have their rules that if you are one of their operatives, let's say, or somebody they use as an operative, you're not allowed to do suits or file complaints to the police. So those are those two rules. So those you can weed people out by. If they've ever done that, they're good to go. If they haven't, then they could possibly be an operative or used by an operative. Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to ask, do you have some bigger plans now in the near future, or something happening on your channel that you want to share?
Tonight I have a blessings stream that we're going to do, a mother's blessing.
What does that entail?
Well, a mother's blessing, I'll give a brief description of it. Amy and I have talked about this in the past. Well, it's a Jewish tradition on Sabbath, the Friday evening to Saturday evening, and then you have a Friday evening meal, a Sabbath meal. I'm not Jewish, but this is a beautiful tradition that they have. So when they sit down for their supper, they do blessings, and one of the blessings is a mother's blessing.
Okay.
She goes around the table and she blesses her children, providing them an opportunity to be forgiven and to forgive. And so a mother's blessing is a stand-in for those that would like to have a blessing set over them, to have an opportunity to forgive and be forgiven by their mother.
Okay.
And so I'm not a religious person whatsoever. I am a relationship more of a person. And so this just happened to be a way, as I said, it's a way to open up that forgiveness and open up to receive the blessings of a mother.
Okay.
So we're going to do that tonight, which tonight is the beginning of Sabbath for the week. Yeah. And so I thought it would be just fun.
Yeah.
Just if you're interested, or if you would like to hear more about it or be blessed, then let's just all be on the video tonight together.
Okay, great. So then everyone go there tonight. I've been sharing your link on the chat as well, so people can find your channel, because I titled also this stream calling you a little bit of an unsung hero, because it's always the most loudest and colorful people that get the most attention, but you are definitely one of the hardest working people in this movement, and I don't think you get enough praise for that.
Oh, and definitely reverberating the kudos right back to you, Miriam, because you're definitely an unsung hero. I should have put both of us on there, but I'm not a hero. I'm just trying to do what I can do.
Yeah, but I do feel like certain, we need all kind of people, like I said, from all the walks of life, all the ages, whatever your background is. But I really feel with you and Audit especially, you're in it for the long haul. It's really like a passion project, not something that you just want to get involved, just to get your name.
Unless you have a couple of 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, this isn't a way to gain money. It's not a money.
No.
Not a money push whatsoever. It's definitely from the heart.
Yeah. So. And I can really feel it. And I really appreciate also that you have the energy, every morning, give a little morning update of what's been going on, and, recognize all the people that have been talking with you. I hope there will be so many people that you can't even answer anyone anymore, everyone anymore.
It's really more selfish than anything, because I love talking with everybody first thing in the morning, and I'm a morning person. So when I get up in the morning, I want people to laugh with, and laugh at too sometimes.
And
but it's fun.
it's a feel good thing. And also, I have found the city council meetings and they're so at this. It's kind of like diabolical because first of all they're educational, and for example, I listened to one from Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and I could hear the people's pain also regarding some other matters that
Right.
there's a lot of issues going on over there, and it's really important that everyone gets to say what they haven't on their heart, and it helps me also to understand why people are having certain kind of situations and obstacles in life. It's really good. And then on the other hand, we have this Hollywood police committee, which is like sometimes I don't know whether to laugh or to cry because I feel so passionate. I want to participate. There's important topics. And then we have someone like Puppet Guy over there. And
if you know, you know. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I wrote actually when Matt MD Media was participating after that incident at the Big Blue, that it's like you get to speak out your mind over there, and at the same time you get a comedy show for totally for free of charge.
Definitely entertainment. Instead, I was at the Salt Lake City Council meeting the other night with Crazy Love, and there's a huge difference between council meetings across the country.
So
most
they
definitely.
They didn't have Batman over there.
No, oh goodness, no. They had no. They had everybody was there, had their 2 minutes. They were eloquent. They spoke. To be real honest, to get my attention when I'm on the other side of that board meeting, when I'm on the receiving side, if you can quote me the law that I should be following, you're going to gain my attention like a snap versus telling me the F word 10 times and calling me the N word. That just, that doesn't even get my attention anymore. But if you can quote me a law that I should be, so if you're going to speak to something that I should be listening to, that's how I play this side of it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll throw the word shit in there or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's just
I don't know about I don't know about how I would personally feel, but I do think it's kind of strong when people are calling in and they are shaming on the people, really saying shame on you for doing this. I think that would hit me very much because I'm a people pleaser, and I would feel that now I've disappointed everyone because I'm being publicly shamed.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, we have our public works meeting today.
Yeah.
And the permits are actually on the agenda.
Okay.
So whoever can call in, but they did change their rules. So you only get a minute to speak. You gotta speak fast.
Okay.
Or up to, I think, a minute or 2 minutes on each agenda item. So we all should get at least 3 minutes today.
Okay. And that's going to be in a couple of hours or?
Yeah, that's in 2 hours.
Okay. I will hopefully get to call in then. And everyone should call in. Will you be sharing the link where people can
I will
call
be.
in?
I'll sharing the link. I'll go live for it and I'll share the link. So
yeah.
And so you'll get a minute to talk on any purview subject, and then 2 minutes, up to 2 minutes for each agenda item. So it's kind of an important one.
Yes.
We finally got on their list. We got to them.
Yeah, great. And it's a new board, right? Well, at
least
partly.
Yeah, there was 3 new people appointed. And I'm going to be real honest, is us calling in and making waves took them off the board. Those other ones got kicked off because of us. And those are high paid positions. I think they're like $200,000 a year. Peter knows. They earn a lot of money for those board positions.
Yeah. But that's why it's good not to give up, because consistency is the key on this. It's and everyone who has the time, then in a couple of hours go on FatGrammy's channel, or Audie DeLacy is probably going to be there.
She'll be there. Yeah.
And I don't know if Henry is going to share. He's also good at sharing the the links also. But if you're sharing the agenda and the link to call in, then everyone head to Mona's channel and call in. I'll just put your channel one more time over here. And maybe I don't know. I've been talking and focusing on you so much. I haven't seen really any of the comments over here. So maybe we need to have
I
a
know
look.
I haven't been keeping track of them either. I know, and I have us streaming on my channel too.
Yeah.
It's
So
at 10 o'clock MD Media, your time.
okay. So in 2 hours.
Yeah, and so and I have not been keeping up with the chat on mine whatsoever. So
Yeah.
y'all are on your own. I know you're being good because I have a great channel chat.
Yeah, I can see the people are talking amongst each other. So I think I will just say in general hi to everyone and to see if there's some questions or some comments here, regarding anything we talked about, because there's so many people in, and I can't say hi to everyone separately. You're too many.
That's okay. I have news. I forgot to hit go live on mine.
Oh, really?
Oh well.
Okay, yeah, that happens. I mean, but at least we see there's people in the chat, so someone is watching. I can see
No, it's really cool.
that, Wally is saying, I saw you on Nora's channel. You were great. I thought that was a great one as well.
She has a way of making the most boring things interesting.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
it's definitely good.
I agree. And sometimes it's almost like, I mean, you got to, say a few words here and there, but when that engine starts going, there's no way of stopping it for sure. It's
I know. I always feel when I'm going through those documents, I always feel horrible for just reading them. And
Yeah.
as I said, she reads them and I'm results oriented. So on my end of it, I'm going, okay, Nora, just get to the end. Just highlight it, go to the next one. Highlight it, go to the next one. And of course she's reading it and
Yeah.
but she makes it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she has the personal examples and the stories to really give the right type of context on this. And that's making it much more understandable, because I'm not sure if I would, read very many paragraphs before falling asleep, to be honest. Some of them are really, difficult to read, especially the original L. Ron text is, that's a doozy.
Oh, it's gobbledygook.
Yeah. Okay, YRB is saying the head of department, Kevin Mossy, is a Scientologist and attends meetings frequently on Sunday. Rules don't apply to Scientology. He waves them through the department. Okay, I haven't heard of Kevin yet.
Kevin Mosey is the head of the Bureau of Street Services, boss who one that oversees the permits.
Ah, okay. So that's why they have this fast track with these all permits and
right.
Yeah.
And we've done it. It's been a while ago, but several of us put in a civil grand jury request with the county of LA. They have grand juries for criminal and for civil. Not many states do. California is one of them. Yeah. And so we're pretty sure they are being raked over the coals.
Yeah.
Through the grand jury process.
Yeah, this is not going to be an easy battle, but we all know it. So yeah, but I think especially Streets LA, he kind of give the example of the kind of tenacity you need to have when you really start to, fight against the big guys.
Yeah, well, that's kind of been my joke, especially with public works, is starting out as "Hello, board, it's me again, Mona," kind of like the old "Hello, God, it's me again, Margaret." Was that the name of the? Yeah.
Yeah, and he really has been like the godfather of the whole movement. I wish I would see him a little bit more. Also, there still, I know he's working on so many different avenues as well, but he really showed everyone how it's done. That you can, he really showed it.
And YRB corrected me. It's 1 minute on each agenda item, total of 4 minutes maximum.
Okay.
Thank you, YRB.
Okay.
So
great.
1 minute public comment and then 1 minute for each agenda item.
Okay. And also asking YRB, is it Denmark where the abuse of foreign workers in the cleaning industry is being dealt with? I'm not familiar with this. Are you referring to something specific? I haven't seen any news regarding this. I was bringing actually this up because in Denmark, majority of Scientologists are working in the cleaning business, in cleaning companies that are owned by Scientologists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a very, very interesting setup. You would not think that you would reach the kind of high income level to be able to pay for all the courses. But I guess that's why many people are in debt as well. But I find it very, very interesting. Let me see here. Did you get frozen or are you there?
No, I'm still here. I'm
okay,
just listening.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Let me see.
And if I did, hopefully it was in a smile and not a funny face.
Yeah, I could just suddenly felt like, oh, am I alone here? Yeah, YRB, he's very busy in the chat. As the attrition happens, whether it's fast or slow, the outside community needs to rise up and facilitate the healing needed by those who leave. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
I tell you what, YRB is a force.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't ever piss off YRB. She is intelligent as the world gets.
Yeah. I can see that already. Susan King is asking, Miriam, do you have many Scientology front businesses in your countries? I mean, we have the front groups in Denmark is the youth for human rights and the drug-free world. I think those are the main ones. And then we have, these Scientologist-owned businesses that are preferring to only hire Scientologists. So, because then they can enforce their own Scientology rules on the people who are in the cult. And also, what is it called? I think it's called field. What do they call the field sales manager position in Scientology, where you're all getting the commission? You're getting the commission for selling, courses
Staff?
to someone. It's called the field service.
Field service something?
Yeah.
Yeah, field service.
Yeah. So I think
FSM, field service manager.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember Polaj was saying that that was, the owner of the company was also that. So basically they were making double profit on, hiring the Scientologists and then, profiting on the courses that they were taking. So it's so twisted. There's so many.
Yeah, what always catches me on those, on the 10% for the staff that they get. So basically the services they sell, it's like a vacuum salesman. So they sell all of the services to that staff member. Then the staff member sells all of their stuff. And so they don't get payroll taxed on any of that.
Okay.
It's like a vacuum sales MLM.
Yeah.
That's how they get around that.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of things that the tax authorities should have a look into inside Scientology in every single country. I know. I mean, they have a reputable audit company doing their annual audit in Denmark. Also, I can't remember if it was KPMG or who was it, but that is just for the show. That's just the surface level. So I actually thought I will use my time on Monday to try and contact the tax authorities and find out why I cannot get, for example, annual report for any of the Scientology organizations, because normally all business data is public here.
Right.
But Scientology is an organization and they're not tax exempt in Denmark. I don't understand why. Normally you should be able to just go online and pay whatever, $10 or whatever equivalent of to order an annual report for whatever organization you want. Why can't I get that for Scientology? Find it very, very strange. Let me see here. I think someone was saying here, I can't find the comment anymore. Maybe it was Hans Christian Schwartz or someone was saying that Denmark is like basically the biggest Sea Org hub outside the States. So, and I can see it already. Yeah. So I was looking last night, the staff numbers, which are public for to publish online. And I was looking at the different organizations for Scientology there in Denmark. I think we're up to like 700. And that would be that would be Sea organization members. So that's a lot. Sorry for the quietness. I'm just trying to scroll down here and find some.
That's okay. I noticed that I can't remember who had asked it. Somebody asked me if there was a difference between public and church federal laws on accessibility. And yes, there are. In federal ADA doesn't pertain to churches, but the state of California, and it's state by state also, the state of California, churches are in with the ADA mix. So they have to be accessible in the state of California. So you have the state and federal differences. But federally, no, churches do not have to, they don't fall under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay, does that mean that they don't need to arrange, for example, their facilities to be accessible?
It depends on the state. Federally, no. Under a federal law, you couldn't go in and sue them or tell them to fix the church through the federal law. But the state of California has a different law. State of California says churches need to be accessible.
Yeah.
So they would fall under the state law. They would be violating the state law.
Yeah.
But the sidewalks is different. The sidewalk is under the ADA. Sidewalk isn't the church.
Yeah, and it's a public street. I mean, that has been established now, this fact, like several times already. And they are behaving like they own the whole boulevard over there, between
of course.
the two
Yeah, of
buildings.
course.
Yeah, with Ted being the sheriff in the town.
And he's a third-party security. He's not even...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to what Dan from Dan Walks LA. He has some TED project going on at the moment.
Oh no! Okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So he actually shared on his community page a very nice glamour shot of Ted wearing a cowboy hat, and he was taking submissions. I think until tomorrow. I can share it here, maybe. Let me just find it.
So to find the humor in all of this, because if you can't find the humor in anything, you might as well be dead, right?
Yeah.
So to find the humor in all of this, it would be a hoot. Hey, Eric Rader, there's my man.
Oh, hi, Eric.
And,
good to see you.
So to find the humor in this would be funny to have a skit or a play or a movie about just the ridiculousness of all of this.
Yeah, this whole
spiel. It would be funny.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's really getting the message through at the moment. I can see that there's his videos and his protest with the screen is doing a lot of it's making a lot of he's getting a lot of views from it, and it's fun, it's occasionally lighthearted, but then there's also the serious aspect to it, and I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and his laugh is about the most infectious. Him and I only say this because it's true, not just because you're on Eric, but him and Eric's laughs are infectious.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Let me see here. Okay, I'll just try and no, it's not working, is it? Yo, it is. Okay,
there we go.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. So. So this is called the TED Project, and he has this this glamour shot of TED, where now I lost.
That cow says it all. Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, so basically you can submit your own version. You can just put Ted anywhere you want. And it will be used on Dan's own virtual project. So just head on Dan Walks LA YouTube page, and on the community tab you can download the glamour shot of Ted and put him wherever you want.
That is funny. Okay, we're gonna have to. Let's all do that.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of. I can see Helgier is over here, and she's already submitted hers. So I also sent a couple of because when you see the picture, you get this idea right away, and I had to act on it immediately, so I wouldn't forget.
Oh, I'll have project. Note to self, project.
Yes,
have to do a TED shot.
Yes, and then we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for coming to talk with me. I'm really honored that you were taking this time to talk with me.
Oh gosh, no, I'm so honored that you'd even think. Thank you so much. I bow down to you, Miriam.
Same here. Okay, let's do like this. This is actually, I was really excited about this, and I can maybe share it now. Also, there's something really exciting happening next week as well. So I got confirmed yesterday evening timing. So Monday, 7 p.m. European Standard Time. That's gonna be 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to facilitate conversation on my channel, and Robert Dam, who wrote the book about the children in the Scientology hotels in Denmark, is going to join me as well as Jamie Mustard.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, Jamie's my other hero. Yep. Yeah. I enjoy. I talk to Jamie quite often. I love talking with him.
Yes. So I will put the link up for the conversation soon, and then I hope that many of you can show up on Monday. And I have maybe it's wrong to say, but I have huge expectations, because there are two people that are talking about the child abuse in Scientology, really focusing on the topic itself, and they are both really keen on getting to know each other and share some information. So I think it's going to be really important. I'm
excited. I'll be on there watching. I'm excited.
Great. So I kind of put the message out there. I thought it would never happen, but I think
how exciting.
The stars aligned there. So it's gonna be amazing, and I'm so excited. And I'll be staying on the background, just listening and learning. I think that will be my biggest task there.
Yeah, that's sometimes when I go quiet, it's because I'm listening, because I'm hearing something. And all of a sudden it'll start the wheels going in my head, and then I forget to speak. So, that's just common.
Yeah. And especially with the chat, I can see that we have Emily, Adira, Witness. We have so many, I have so many friends here that I consider friends, because we talk on the chats all the time. But it's so difficult, because I really also want to take in everything you're saying. And it's difficult to have your eyes everywhere. Maybe that comes with, with the time and experience, but right now I can just see that there's something moving on the right side of my eyes, but I can't register what everyone is saying. So yes, everyone, in approximately hour and a half, head to Mona's channel and call the public works meeting. There's going to be conversation. One of the item on the item lists, there is going to be conversation about the permits, the street permits, right?
Yep.
So if you can call in, just to maximize the opportunity, for anti-Scientology activists to use all the public comment time and the comment time over there. The most people that as many people as call in as possible, the better it is, because then we can ensure that as many as possible get to say.
They can see that eyes are on them. Eyes are definitely on them.
Exactly.
So-
And it's good to get some new blood also, because I mean, they are familiar with you, Mona, and I'm sure they would miss you if you missed the meeting. But it's good to get some fresh.
I welcome the day that I don't have to call in.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
means the job's done, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we just need to keep the eyes on the price. And then Monday 10 a.m. PST, then or 7 p.m. European Standard Time, then come and join me following the conversation between Robert Dam and Jamie Mustard about children in Scientology. That's
Look forward to it.
yeah.
Okay, well, I need to go finish fluffing and buffing for the day.
Yes.
So that way I can get ready for my meeting. I appreciate, thank you so much, Miriam, and thank you, chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for everyone joining in the chat today. And I hope you're going to have a great weekend. And I'll see you around.
I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.